so once you get it molded where the chin is where you want it, we can soften the edges really easily. It's still pretty hot, so I want to give it a second. I can undo the edges. Easy to soften the edges to kind of get them a little more of a bend towards the face shape that you want. Soften it a little. Okay, and then when we get to the top, I want to relax the center. But when we get to the top, you're going to want the bridge to be wide before you start. So you want to soften it kind of wider. And then we want to make sure the notch is cut out enough for those of us who have small noses. If you have a bigger nose, it's going to be easier for you to use the size provided. I'm going to go ahead and cut it though. It's a little bit easier to work with. Okay. Okay. So as we soften this, you're going to want it not to be too hot, but just hot enough because you are going to want it to lay across your face some to start to get the shape. Okay. I like to push it in here to start to get that shape first. Hold it until you feel that it's cooling. Okay, that feels pretty good. So you can see it can work a little bit more with it. My nose is kind of funny shaped, so. All right, and so then you've overlapped your last little piece there. I'm gonna plug in this other heat iron, not the triangular one, for this seal. Okay, it'll also take a second to heat up, but again, if you don't, if you let it be already heated, some of these are just too hot for this material, you'll just burn it and smoke it. So I'm gonna plug in the general store soldering iron. Okay, that's this one. You can get this at any craft store or hardware store. This is the really general one. It is very hot, so I'm guessing from using it earlier that it's upwards of 450. I'm going to use it in this crease here. You can see it overlaps pretty well on this end already, but I've got to wait to see if it's heating. Starting to heat. You can see how these are very pointy, and so both the tip and this utensil will melt pieces of the mask you don't want it to if you're using this somewhere else. Okay, it's starting to warm up. You can see it being tacky and picking up some of the mask now. I don't know, if the bridge of your nose is wide enough, you can probably get away with using that triangular one. Be careful with this pointy one or it'll just come through. And then I like to do this, it's still got a good seal, but this just makes me feel better about it. I like to do this tip and soften this. Seal here. So then you can see that that's sealed really well. Okay, I'm going to soften the nose piece slightly. Okay. Okay, so you can see that this one, let me make sure it's not too hot, is nicely fitted for my face. You can, you know, you can make these a little tighter if you like. Just by holding them in the shape that you want. Yeah. Okay. So once you hold it, you can feel when it starts to firm up. Okay. So this is pretty much fitted to my face. And now I'm gonna have Matt show you how to add the filtering mechanisms there, because this is reusable, but the filtering mechanisms are disposable, and you can get those at the store. And then also how to add the headbands, and then if you'd like, if you feel like this is too sharp or it doesn't get a good seal, you can add weather stripping. Okay, thanks.
Right, so real quick, we're going to put together a couple of these filters. You can see I've got one cut here. It's basically, we cut it from the round Whisper cotton rounds from the grocery store for the makeup. And what we're gonna do is go around the outside.
44 millimeters, so a little bigger than that filter.
Just a little bit bigger than the filter because we want it to make sure it goes all the way across that filter. Okay, now I've got two of those. And then we're also going to do the same thing. This is the material from this non-woven polyethylene. Now you use your outside mold of your cap to trace around this. So now that we've got our inserts, we're going to go ahead and put these together. First is the polyethylene, followed by our printed insert, followed by our cotton insert and our cap. Make sure you thread this correctly. And there we go. Other side, polyethylene, and then our two filters and our cap. So the mechanism here is close to a tint guy wire, where we have the wire coming in here, wraps around our mask attach point, and then gets tied off here. Whenever you tighten, this will pull that closer, and then if you pull this out, it will loosen it so that it will let the tension off. It's like that on both sides, and then you can do this for top and the bottom. This material is a little bit stretchy. It's a bracelet material for crafting that I found at the hobby shop. I'll put a link to it in the comments. Now, if you wanted to add some other softer material for bridging across the nose or filling in gaps, use this weather stripping. I got this at Lowe's. Thing to know about the weather stripping is, even though it has the pre-attached tape, that's super handy for building these things quickly, but that will break down over time in the alcohol bath, so you're going to have to replace that with either silicone or which will take a longer time to set up, or some other adhesive.
It needs to be the thick gel because we tried Gorilla Glue and it doesn't
Right,
hold.
and it can't just be super glue, because that will not hold over time. So now you can see I've added a nice squishy layer there, and it holds tight to my face.
And the nurse that we're working with says it is going to be sanitary if put in the alcohol bath. That type of stripping can go in the alcohol bath and be cleaned.
Thanks everybody for watching our video.
And make sure to let your representatives know that all of the 3D labs in classrooms and universities and libraries across the state and the country can be used to print these masks quickly and get them to healthcare professionals who need them.